They trying to get me back outside, but I'm working on my inner self. God is my bestie.
Hello everyone, my name is Lady V and I love to write poetry. I'm speaking my testimony on God is my bestie. Being a cage bird is anyone who is not in full control of themselves, who is being controlled by someone or something that has a negative effect on them. Wake up, boo, and give yourself a clue as to why you shouldn't let that happen to you. Be strong and be a survivor like me, and I guarantee you, you will love the feeling of being free.
What made you feel like a caged bird as a child? What made you feel like a caged bird then?
Well, the abuse from my mother.
What type of
She
abuse?
just told me I would never amount to anything. In addition to beating me, I'm talking about breaking plates over your head, hammers, broomsticks, and all kind of other objects. But we had 4 girls in the family. She didn't do it to the other 3. She only did it to me. Why? I remember. With every punch I got in my face, it was like, you just like your effing father. And I could never understand. I didn't see nothing wrong with my father. But this is what she did to me and caused me to feel like I was nothing. So,
So how old was you now? Is this from like your whole entire
this was
childhood?
from public school on up to I was 18 when I finally left home. And I left then because she beat me and knocked me into the bathtub. And I said, oh no, I can't take this no more. So I left. And I became a cage bird of someone else that was abusive just like she was.
So you went from one cage to another, you're
Yes,
saying?
yes. I guess I wanted to find shelter away from the storm.
Away from your mom and all of that stuff.
Yes.
So then
You know, and I worked, I finished school and a lot of good things, but I was never praised for that. So I said, well, what's the point? You know, but I still kept on going with my jobs and everything. But it's like everything I got into, her voice was like right in my ear. You will never be nothing, you know. And you know what? This is the saddest part I can remember yesterday. Like I said, I had 3 sisters. They were all running to the Christmas tree. Oh, Velma, look what I got for Christmas. Look what I got. Look what I got. When I was the last one. When I ran up there, would you believe it was nothing there? And all I could do was just bow my head down, and I went to the bathroom. I was crying. I went so she wouldn't see I was crying. But my father, who always tried to protect me, I heard this little knock at the door. And I knew it was him. So I opened the door. I wasn't using the bathroom or nothing. I just was sitting down crying on the toilet. So he said, I'll get you something on the first. I was about 8 years old. What did I know about what the first was? That was when, after years went by, he was going to get me something with his check from the army.
but wait, why did she so they got something and
Yes,
you
they,
didn't?
or, Velma, look at my pretty doll. Oh, look what I got. Oh, look what I got. So my mother actually watched me walk to the Christmas tree. I don't know why I thought it would be something under there, but it was nothing under there for me. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was one of the saddest part. Another one was my baby sister,
Now who's the baby?
Margie.
Okay.
Okay, and my mother's name was Margie too. And I bought my mother only because she used to wear this nightgown with a hole in it, and she wore it over and over and over. And when they said, well, you know, I didn't ask nobody for Christmas. I just looked at what they might need. And I brought her a nightgown. And she said to me, once she got it, who gave you the sense enough to know how to buy somebody something for Christmas? I felt so cheap, you know?
Oh, wow.
And then she said, Margie, I don't want this. This is her baby daughter. Margie, you want this? I don't want this.
Oh, wow.
And she gave it to my sister.
How old was you then?
I was about 8 years old. No, not 8. No, excuse me.
teenager,
No,
maybe?
not 8. I was working for the telephone company, and that's how I was able to buy everybody gifts.
So by this time you was older than a teenager.
Yes, yes,
In your
yes,
20s, maybe.
yes.
And after she did all that, you still thought to buy her something.
I sure did.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
and I would cry and say, "Why do my mother treat me like this?" And you know what? People
Was she? No, go ahead.
were looking out the window, and I mean, she would chase me out the house and be just hitting me in my back, whatever. And I was just trying to just relieve the pain. And he said, "Margie, that's going to be your favorite child. Why you always hitting on her?" And she would just keep hitting me out in the street. So everybody knew in the community that she beat me. Everybody knew. It was no secret. And
Now, was she loving to your other siblings? Like, was she the type of mother to show them love? What, like, or
well,
was
I don't
she-
remember
how was she
any
with them?
love
Was she was kind of tough?
shown in that family. No love. It was just darkness. Okay, darkness, shades down. One day she's your friend, the next day she's not. You know, and I mean, I would bring people home from school. "Oh, Ma, this is so and so, this is so and so. Oh, hello, darling, how are you?" The next day, "Who is this?" I don't know them people. I mean, I just could not understand what was going on until I became a caged bird in my own house. But it's not like I didn't go out and have fun and go places, Coney Island with group. But I would always look at other people's families and say, "I wish I had a family like that."
Wow.
Because the other parents, the mother and fathers, talk to each other.
Right.
My mother and father didn't. My mother was always cursing my father out. And I used to feel so sorry for him. And then, you know, she said, you got your father's ways. And as I was growing up, I was quiet like my father. And I think, you know, sometimes you can look into a child and see, "Oh, he walks like me, she walks like me," or whatever. But whatever I did, it was nothing good enough for her. And I couldn't figure that out. And I ended up going into another caged bird in the mental ward when I was 28 years old. I did not want to see my mother. I told them I did not want to see her. They did not let her in either because it's up to what the patient wants.
Wow. Wait a
So my
second.
father came to see me, and I opened my eyes and I talked to him. But I blocked her out. I blocked
So
her
wait,
out.
why why did you go to the mental ward at 28? What was going on then?
Oh,
Because you out the
Okay.
house now. You're 28. Do you
I
have
probably
kids
was
yet?
going through a divorce, yes, because Yance with leukemia and Kareem with open heart surgery. I was going to Medgar Evers College. We were in the parking lot. It was a snowstorm, a blizzard, and we had a car.
Wait,
My
but what-
son was 2 months old. My mother put us out the house. The car didn't start. It was like really, she told me to take them kids to your father, to their father's house and put him on the doorstep.
Wow.
You know,
So-
I mean, I don't understand because they were dark or something. My mother was very color struck. And it was a shame. I couldn't figure any of that out, but now I could. But it was so sad to treat a child like that. That's why those of you who have children, love them as much as you can. My daughter has a problem with saying I never loved them, but I did. But I mean, they got more than I got. I got nothing under the tree. I bought them a tree every Christmas. They ate. They never did without a meal. So that's what I was shown. I wasn't shown how to hug and say, "Oh, I love you so much," and "Oh, my beautiful daughter." No, because I was also ended up a single parent with 4 children. And
Now
I
wait,
held on to my job.
without getting into too much detail, you were married. At what age now did you get
19 years old.
what was it like being married at 19? Was it like, did it seem like, that was the answer to
No, I mean, it
getting out of
just-
one cage, which was with your mom?
Yes.
Was that like, did that make you feel some type of freedom?
I thought it did until I started finding out a lot that I didn't know about my husband.
Okay.
So then I was actually like, I got a double portion now. You ain't nothing. So, I mean, it's bad enough you don't come to my
Now,
place.
did he tell you that, or is this still your
Well,
mother's
sometimes
voice in
a
your
man
head?
doesn't have to tell you that. If he's going out to cheat on you, then you're nothing. Because why would they go out there? I mean, I had meals cooked, everything. Or, you know what I'm saying? There was nothing I wouldn't do because I always wanted to do the right thing, and I always did the right thing.
Okay.
It was the people I picked who did the wrong things. This poem is entitled God's Strength. I'm glad God made me who I am. And again, I thank all of you from the bottom of my heart, whomever played a part. You all tried to bury me by worrying me, by pushing me in my grave, and tried to take all the strength that God have already gave to me. Yeah, you made a monster out of this shy country girl, but you know what? You will never be able to ever again control Lady V's world. My theme about writing, a lot of my writings come from the way I was treated. And one thing is time. Don't let nobody never waste your time.
I was
And
just
don't
getting ready to ask
ever
you.
let anybody like abuse you in any kind of way. And don't do it to your children either, because that leaves scars. I mean, I still have scars. I
So
mean,
what advice would you give to the younger women who may be thinking, marriage or relationship is...
get counseling. Yeah, no, okay. You have to know a person before you dive into something. A lot of us don't. We just dive into things and without knowing. I mean, if I could tell you maybe two things that I looked at a man for, and it's not like I didn't even know you wasn't supposed to do that. You have to be taught these things. And
Right.
but you really have to know a person. And by looking at the choices I made, like now I'm really particular about who I choose as friends. I have no friends now at all. I've done deleted everything, phones, everything. I'm
Do you
all
think that...
about me.
Oh, well, I was going to say, do you think that's healthy? But when you said you're all
You
about
know
you,
what?
I do
believe
think
it is healthy, and if God want me to find the right person, He will send them to me.
Okay.
So that's how I look at
now
things.
you had, by the time, you had 4 children.
Yes,
By the time you were
37.
37. Wow. What was that like?
Well, I did love my children.
But I'm
To
saying,
be-
was it tough for you having 4 children? Well,
it's not that I look
like?
forward to having the 4 children. There's another part of the 50%.
Yeah, no, I know, but I want to know your side. This is about you.
Well, okay. You know what?
It would have
like
been
I
tough for
said,
me. I have one. I
it's
can't imagine
just
having
like
any
being
more. I mean,
a single parent. So I learned to continue to work. I learned to take care of y'all. I've learned to cook for y'all. I've learned to be without anybody over the holidays. So,
when did you get time for yourself?
I never did. That's what I'm saying. This is why now I write about everything. Okay, I can't say I regret what I did because every lesson learned, you take something from it or you leave the rest behind. But every lesson is a learning experience, whether it is good or bad.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier if you were taught these things, which I wasn't. I was taught through my music, which is the old records, and they taught you a lot through the old records.
So give me an old record that you used to play. No
Mama
Pain.
said there'll be days like this, there'll be days like this. My mama said, mama said, mama said, mama said.
But I don't remember you played a lot of Betty Wright,
like,
No Pain.
Yeah,
No
but
Gain.
Mama Said was back in the 60s.
Okay.
See, we used to go to this place called Bosses and Johnny's, and they played a lot of old records. That's where I got a lot of my records from.
Wow.
So all of that is what made me feel happy, listening to the music after my mother had beat me, tied me to a bed while my sisters laughed at me. Come on. And how could you train 2 sisters against the other 2? My older sister went into the army because she couldn't stand me being beat. And one day my mother was up, she would tell us, oh, I know how to dance and swing dance and all this. And I'm like, okay. I would very rarely see her smiling, but she was happy.
When was she happy? When?
not too many times. This was the one time I got to answer, Ma, why you always beating me and you never beat the other girls? You know what she told me? Joanne had the skin problem, which was eczema, and I had the same thing, but she had it worse, okay? And Janie was nervous and Margie was the baby.
Wow.
I remember that just as clear.
Wow.
In other words, it was no more excuse for me. Nothing wrong with you, Velma, so I could just beat the shit out of you. You know what I'm saying? So
Now, did you ever get to confront her as you got older? Yeah, as you got older and she got older, did you ever get to ask her why?
no, I got my answer when I was little. Margie's the baby, Janie's the nervous one, and Joanne had skin problems. And all I could do was just look at her.
But
No, and this, you have to understand, April, this did not only happen when I was little. This was all the way up to my teenage years. Everybody knew it. And they used to have the housing police down in the project. And I would run and say, please help me, my mother's trying to kill me. And they would say, I'm going back home. So nobody was
helped you.
there to save me. BCW, ACS, whatever, was not there. No,
Wow.
nobody. They didn't care. One time she hit me, what they call them spike heels, just because. Kitchen is here. I got to squeeze through her and my sister. She's straightening her hair. And I just say, excuse me, and she picked up a shoe and just started beating me. Blood was gushing all out of my hair. My father was in Baltimore. I can't even leave that part out. He always took me to Baltimore. I guess in fear that my mother would kill me.
Now, what was he like? Because that was her, excuse me, that was her husband. So what was he like?
My father was the sweetest man.
So
And I would watch her chase him in the bedroom because he probably did not want to put his hands. My father was not a violent man. So he would close the door and my mother would be steady trying to push it open. Open this door, Mike, I'm going to open this door. And then he finally got it closed and we heard the lock click. And she'd be cursing at him and everything. And I said, well, he was a man.
One more thing about your dad. What do you think it was that he was attracted to in her? If he was a nice guy and she was a mean lady, what do you think
The
attracted?
thing is, you change as you get older.
But you still had some type of care for your mother. You were there for her at the end. I don't know. You didn't just say F her.
Well,
Or
you know what? I
you
did.
put the
I cannot
funerals
say.
together.
Yeah, I felt I had to. You know, I felt I had to.
Okay.
So that's all
So
I'm
that
going to
wasn't
say. It's like I never had a mother. And I'm sorry, that's a painful thing to say. And people might say, how could you say that? You got to have lived in my shoes. Anybody who want to say anything negative about somebody else, walk in their shoes first. And then see how you will feel.
Okay.
And that's another reason why I never got as far in life as I could have because of her voices in my ear.
Do you still hear her voices? Like that voice telling you, oh, you're not going to be anything, or that negative
I
stuff.
still have. It's very sad, but I work now with 2 to 5 year olds, and I really observe them, believe it or not, since, you know what April told me? She said, when she used to go to John F. Kennedy, that the other kids looked at, she said, Ma, you never did this, and you never, all the other kids were treated different. Maybe their mother hugged them, but their mother hugged them. I knew nothing about hugging, no feelings, nothing. And to live like that is really pitiful. And then when you get to know what a feeling is, you know, it's like you still have those negative voices. And I see why. Yeah. They follow you. The name of this poem is Thinking Outside the Box.
Okay.
Yo, give me a little grace in this place and let the sun shine on my face. You cannot block me from being free, and you sure can't block me from being me. you did ask me to think outside the box. So how you gonna try to erase me with your block? You can't block a bitch like me, because how then will you be able to see what I am made of? Why don't you just let me stay above and let me fly where I want to go? I don't need no lead from you or your show, because then it wouldn't really be about me. Let me do my meditation without you being in my conversation. I like to do my own creation, maybe even from a peaceful nation. I like to determine my own determination and my visual destination. Now, if you want to be a part of my station, we can both play Jason. But don't think you're going to stay and put me in the back, because we can both roll together, or you can just scatter. If you ever try to turn me off from my station, remember again that we still can both play Jason. I've always had a firm, stubborn desire to achieve any goal, even when the road leading to it doesn't seem to hold. Yes, that's me, the busy bee, thinking outside of the box.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to be said when there's a lot of, like you said, trauma.
It's
and
trauma.
stuff.
I went through a lot of trauma.
But you also lost 2 sons.
Yes, I did. And this is why. This is another trauma. And I don't know who would be watching these tapes, but I've seen a lot out there.
So, but
And
okay,
it's
so
just,
tell me,
you know, if you want to tell your children something and they don't want to listen.
well,
then-
I want to know about Yance, a little about Yance, a little about Kareem, and then we can move on.
Oh, Yance was my first son. Oh, he was the sweetest. Oh, he was my first baby, you know. Not that I loved him more than any of y'all, but he was just the first child. Now, let me tell you something about Kashan. He was born into this world, nice, healthy, normal boy. He learned how to walk and everything before he was a year and a half. Then all of a sudden, he stopped walking. He was in a car accident, and they called me on my job with my husband, and it was like right after that. Okay, then we found out he had cancer.
Wait, he was in a car accident when he was younger?
Yes, with Butch.
Wow. Oh, wow.
That was before the sickness came on him, and somebody told me, they said, you know, we all have cancer in our bodies, but it takes a trauma to bring it out. But for him to be so healthy and then to all of a sudden stop walking and all that, and they sat us around the table and told us he had Nehemiah lymphocytic leukemia. And I don't know how much feelings my husband had, but I cried at the table. I don't even remember what, he was putting me through so many changes. But he practically lived in the hospital. He was 1.5 when they found out. I watched a lot of the children die that had the same thing he had. The doctors told me I needed to have another baby, which was Kareem. I wasn't ready for no another baby. And because he was going to die at 5 years old. Oh, I went to Prospect Park, I went to Botanic Gardens, I went here, there, or took him all over so I could bring him to every place I knew about before he died. Yance lived to be 21 years old. He continued to stay in remission and everything. And he died in a car accident at 21.
Wow.
About my block is mad different, cause I'm a parent of a little baby girl. I'm representing Brooklyn.
So when the doctors told me, they were so scared that I would go into a deep depression if Kashan died. And I had no kids, so I had the second baby, Kareem. Kareem was born blue with a hole in his heart.
What is blue? Like
Blue, like
the
people
color
die. Yes, he was
Oh,
born
wow.
blue. So he probably was dying or whatever, but they told me he has to stay in the hospital. We're not going to do surgery on him because he's too little. Okay. They wanted to open his heart at 5 years old. By then I was, going to college to be a teacher. First I wanted to be a nurse because I was learning all, the definitions of the medicine and codes and everything. But I didn't have anybody to watch my children while I could go to night school. All the other teachers, my kids watch the little ones and all that, and I would feel so bad every time somebody talked about their family and what they did for them. I had nobody.
But staying on Kareem, he was born blue.
He was born blue.
His heart, they wanted to open his heart at 5, but you didn't allow that.
No, it's not that I didn't allow it. They said when he turned 5 years old, he would be strong enough to get that surgery.
Okay.
He got it done at Downstate Hospital. Dr. LaCoy, thank you, and Dr. Walk, who took care of Kashan.
Wow, you remember the
Yes,
name.
yes, they were such nice doctors. And Kareem was born at Brookdale, where I met Dr. LaCourt, and Yance was born in Cumberland Hospital.
Wow.
So, anyway, I was going to school because I wanted to be a nurse, and I told my friend Joyce, I said, Joyce, you know what? I saw an article in the paper, all you need is $400, and you could get your certificate to become a nurse. She said, Velma, why would you want to do that? And you could go to school and get the grants for free. So that's what I did. That's when I went to Medgar Evers College. And don't let me forget to tell you about my first hospitalization of mental illness when I was 28.
Okay, I was about to say when you
that's
when you
where
was
it's
28.
gonna, and that's how.
This is after Kareem was.
After
Yance is here,
Kareem,
is
yes, yes.
here. Okay.
I'm on my way through to a divorce, and we are separated, and I'm still going to the hospital. When Kashan wasn't in the hospital, Kareem was in there.
Wow.
So could you imagine me going to college, and sometimes I slept at the hospital. The nurses knew me. Then they came up with family daycare where you could put your kids in there in 6 months.
Okay.
The babysitter told me, you have to come home now because Kareem turned blue. So I called Brookdale, and I called Dr. LaCourt and said, Kareem is blue. I'm not home yet. I'm traveling on my way home. So that's when they said we have to take him in. I know we said we would do the surgery at 5 years old, but they had to do it then, which Kareem is only 2.5. I mean, yeah.
Oh, 2.5. So before 5 years old.
Right.
Wow.
That much before. They couldn't wait till he got 5. So then they told me he had a hole in his heart. So they covered the hole up. Lo and behold, later on, after we all are grown, Kareem is in Pennsylvania. My nephew Millar called and said, I think you need to come out here and see about your son. He's been coughing up blood. So we did have a car, we drove out there, and Kareem was admitted into the hospital. Now it's congenital heart failure, which has nothing to do with the hole in his heart when he was born. Where'd that come from? When he was in prison, he was lifting these bars and weights and, came home so buff,
Wow.
and then, so now all of a sudden, he's sick. So I got to go out to Pennsylvania and become his caretaker. And he had, oh my God, defibrillator. That's something you wear on your arm. Then you had a pick line where you had to, the blood goes in and you have to know what to do. And then, okay, after all of that, it was LVAC, which was the size of like a VCR or something you plant in the stomach. Then you could hear them breathe. So I had to look at all that. I had to learn the machine, but Kareem was very, he knew how to use the machine and all of that. So he basically did everything for himself, but he had to walk around with that machine with a battery. If the battery went off, that means the battery was dying. And I mean, he had such bodyguards. And I mean, I remember the guy said, oh, it went off. He would fly down 7 flights of stairs and come back up. But it's not
What
funny.
you mean bodyguards?
He had the guy, Frank. He had Mike. He had, you know what I'm saying? They all cared about him and his heart.
So they finally found him a new heart.
And I had a set of twins along the way. So a lot of the times I got this machine, an LVAC, and we walk around with these wires and pumps and assisted by coming out my stomach. It was a rough, tough road, man, but Yeah, I know I need a haircut or shave. I just let myself go. I do since April 3rd or April 4th. And I guess what I actually got approved for the operation 2 days ago, and now they go and get an office. This is crazy. Like Biggie Smalls says, it's unbelievable. Biggie Smalls is the illest. You know, I'm just, it's crazy.
I hate to even, that's another trauma because this white guy had an 18-year-old's heart. You know what I'm saying? And he bounced right back up from the operation. This was the time that Miss Kia, Tanisha was giving me my birthday party, which I was going to drive away from Pennsylvania out to Manhattan to enjoy my party. Before I left, I think the surgery was on maybe Thursday, and I know this white boy, as soon as he got up, he just bounced back up like a robot. Wow, chick. And then I said, why? I asked the doctor, why isn't Kareem woke yet? He said, oh, everybody's body is different. So I looked at Kareem and I told him I'm going to New York and I'll be back. Just like when Yance died, I didn't know. Your body swells up with water. Yance's head was this big and people was like, Velma, why does he look like that? I don't know. I'm here just like you're here. But Kareem had a swelling to him. And the saddest thing I would remember, the doctor said, we have one more thing we're going to try. And I was like, yeah. And he said, we're going to do this test. And I remember, I said, Kareem, they said they got another test. I'm going to sign the paper. He had never opened his eyes from when I left to go to New York. He opened his eye and the machine was just going like that, as if to say, Mom, forget it.
Wow.
And he never woke up after he opened his eyes. That was it.
So how old was Kareem when he
I would say he was 31 or 32. I never really looked back at the acknowledgement thing or not. Yance was 21, and I would say Kareem was 31.
Okay.
So it's a shame. Yance died and didn't even die from the cancer. And one time the doctor told me, he said, Miss Freeman, you can stay with them all the minutes. There's another trauma. This is the deal with you.
Well, what did the trauma with me got to do with anything?
Remember, Junior would make jokes.
Oh, yeah.
And Junior would always say, excuse me, y'all, Junior was my second husband. And he would just lay there. And I would say, Junior, because Junior had cancer. And he would just lay there. And I said, Junior, wait. And then he would just wake up and start laughing. Like, I got you. So, this time, I had moved Junior into my apartment. We lived like just, one building down from each other. I would live with Junior for a while, then Junior would come and stay with us till Junior got so sick, they had to bring the hospital bed and they put it in my house. Then he had a 24-hour nurse. So, April was asking me, since I would drive Poppy and Rashawn them home, or at least to the Utica Avenue train station, I said, April, Junior's sick. Oh my, could you just take them on to the thing and just, so I took them and the lady said, did you hear what he said, Velma? I said, no, what? He said, don't be surprised if he ain't here when you get back. And I saw Junior's always saying that. And sure enough, I got back, they had him in a body bag. They were waiting for the body bag. He had died on me, only because I went to take them to the train station. So, and the doctors told me, don't be so protective over Yance because you may not be there when he takes his last breath. You could be on the toilet. But I said no. Sometimes when I could put him on my hip, I took him in the bathroom with me and all that stuff. And Yance, what do you want? Why are you cooking him 3 breakfast? Oh, because he said he wants spaghetti. He said he wants grits and eggs. And he ate it though. And then, it's just sad. I wasn't there for the car accident. I just wasn't there.
Well, it was.
And you kind of blame yourself for not being there. You protected him all this time, but at the time he really needed you. You weren't there, and that's what goes.
Well, you can't be with your kids 24/7.
You're right. I know that, but it's like y'all are all I had, and look what y'all did to me today. Look at me. I'm by myself. I'm by myself, and it's such a sad thing to be growing old and lonely by yourself.
Well, I try to.
And
I try to get up with you more, but
it doesn't matter.
maybe
The thing is, it doesn't matter anymore, April. I'm already on the other side. I don't want anybody with me. That's the thing. If you wait too long, you miss the magic and it's gone. That's what I wish I could tell everybody that. Everybody's not going to understand because they say, oh, she don't know what she's talking about. But see, when you live this and you be shown thing after thing after thing, you want to help everybody, but you can't. And that's the kind of person I am. For those of you who think I'm really a bitch, I'm a nice person. Okay? Thank all you haters too, because you also helped me be the person that I am, made me stronger. You know what I'm saying? This poem is called A Message to All My Haters. You ain't no player like me. You ain't no pimp like me. I'm the Busy V. And I know ain't nobody like me. No, I ain't conceited. I'm just sophisticated and educated because of all you and what you put me through. Now, I thank you all haters that you thought you were greater, that you gave me the strength to be who I am today. Thank you.
So you have 2 kids left, me and Elijah. What life advice would you give us moving forward?
My advice I would give to you is to keep Poppy under your wing.
Okay.
I haven't seen him, but the thing is, y'all are a family.
Okay.
Once it's gone, it's gone. Elijah, be a man. Be a man, Elijah. And that's it. Be a good man. I know you're a good man. He has my personality, but anyway, it doesn't matter. But the thing with me now, I'm at the age. Y'all are not gonna know until I am gone. So what's the point of me telling you now what I want you to do? I mean, if I live this long and y'all have not done what I've asked you to do all these years,
Well,
what is the difference
people
now?
grow at their own
And they
pace.
outgrow of things too. The thing is, they outgrow.
That's
While the
true.
magic is still there, that's when you have to do it. You can't wait till it's gone or bridges are burned. You cannot do it. And that's all I have to tell all these people who's listening to me. Yo, just do it right. Just do it right. And the
Okay.
world would be a better place if you had more people like me, the Lady B.
So we talked about the caged bird. Wow, that was a lot. What makes you feel free today? What makes you feel free?
What really makes me feel free? That I'm going to be going on to glory. Yes, I am going to glory. I feel peace within my heart. I help everybody that I can help. And my time is done helping. You know, I'm on my own with my higher power. And I feel very protected. And I'm not sad anymore like I used to be. I'm very happy, and I have this peaceful happiness. And people are like, I see you always smiling, because you know why? I'm happy. So don't worry about me. Don't think about me as being not happy, because I feel I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have gotten this far in my life. I've seen everything. I've seen it all. I couldn't even begin to tell you the things that I saw that made me happy and the things that made me sad, but they all were learning experiences. My higher power says, Velma, let them be. Just pray for them. And that's all you can do. Just pray for them. Because it is what it is. And that's just the way it is. Those of you who read the book Winter, at the end, Mother said,
The coldest winter ever
Coldest
by
winter
Sister
ever.
Soldier.
Yes.
The end, she said it is what it is.
she said, that's just the way it is. One of my favorite sayings is why. Why this? Why that? I used to, why my mother don't love me like everybody else mother loved him? Why my kids don't do this like all other? Why? Why to me is no answer. It's the 25th letter of the alphabet. There is no answer. And a lot of whys you will never get answers. Why my mother never loved me? I'll never get the answer. She either up there or down there. But I won't get an answer. I will never get an answer. And sometimes kids long for answers and they don't get them. They're just not there. So when you ask yourself why this and why that, there is no answer. It's just the 25th letter of the alphabet, the letter before Z. Wow.
So I want to close out with one of your poems.
I'm going to read a poem out of my book that my poem was published in, called Bridges. And this book is sent out to all the prisoners in certain states. And we had a writing group in the Brooklyn Public Library, and I was fortunate enough to be chosen, and my poem was chosen to be written in this book. I know not why the caged bird sings, wondering will I ever be set free again. What are you saying? You were never free? Oh yes, I was, just my imagination in me. As I sit here and think, I could take myself many places, wherever I want to go. I could go home and reminisce of all the good times I had, or I could get caught up in all that I've lost, wishing that day had never came when they shackled me up in those chains. I now know why the caged bird sings, because he wants to fly but just sits and flaps, but still continues to have no wings. After sharing my poem to a few listeners in a writing group I attended at the Bedford Library, located at 496 Franklin Avenue in Brooklyn, one of the facilitators with Justice Initiatives and Recreation asked me, what would I say to myself now that I am out, or to those who are still in, who have also walked in my shoes? Also, what words of encouragement I could share with them to encourage and let them know there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. I am now going to sit, stop, and make it brief. I know it may seem hard to get any sort of relief from the time you spent behind bars, and may even have gained a couple of stars. But as you've also heard, time heals all wounds. So this is not a time to sit in gloom. Start thinking of what you want to do and make yourself a plan. Stop thinking of your past mistakes and try to understand. Keep the faith, brothers and sisters, and let it carry you through. Be strong and continue on, and you too will make it through. Cover yourself with the armor of God, Ephesians 6:13 through 18. Leave behind regret, suicide, sadness, negativity, stinking thinking, violence, giving up, etc. Remember, you are what you eat and what you think. Make your own list of what you don't need and pray for the higher power to take it away. God bless.
Yes. Now, I know that poem comes from you being in prison, but this is God is my bestie, so I want to know, what makes God your bestie?
Because God orders all my steps. Even if I'm going in the wrong direction, which we never talked about that, things I would stop from doing, things that would stop from doing, it was God. See, you don't know till you get to the end why you got through a lot of things in life.
Okay.
So I know he was always there. It's not like he's chasing us, we're running from him. But when you stop to listen, he's the only small voice you're supposed to hear. And it is very clear once you open your ear.
Nice. More poetry.
Right.
Well, I thank you, Ma. Give me a hug. I love you. Thank you for doing this with me.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I enjoyed, I learned some things that I didn't know. And I love you and I wish you the best.
Thank you.
God is my bestie.
Yes, he is. Always, all the time.
All that I got is you, and I'm so thankful
My mama put you through a lot of trouble when I should have been comfortable with your problems. And she's a bachelor's degree from getting followed, running the streets, taking the potholes. Take a look at my soul, but only God knows. Inside when I was 12 years old, you lost a son. But I was missing my bro, and that trauma wasn't good for my emotional growth. And then we had the fire. The seven drug dealers trying to burn us out the projects. Why I had If we made it out safe. After that, the feds tried to raise us out of our place. I remember this, the day I lost my innocence. Looking for love and everything that a man would give. It made me weak. It backfired on me. You were struggling with the lines in this ADHD. You a woman like me, I understand the mood swing when you going through grief. The things I hate didn't make it. They gave him a new heart, his body didn't take it. He wasn't so man. I know you lost two sons, but me and Rob really with you. All we got is us. Don't even think about the struggle on the avenue. I'ma smile for me, let me smile back at you.
All that I got is you, and I'm so thankful we made it through. All that